Welcome back to another video. Here we have Shay in the black shirt versus Sage in the pink. Sage has essentially been doing Taekwondo possibly before she could walk. She's got really good, really effective Taekwondo. And a lot of you out there who train, you might think, Taekwondo, it's this, it's that. She's very effective. I've seen her just mess up guys, really good distance, timing, athleticism, etc. She has been recently trying to transition over, acquire more Thai boxing skills, potentially take Thai boxing fights, so that is part of her journey. She has done ground, but she hasn't done a ton of it, and she hasn't also done it recently. So this is a mixed martial arts fight. You see the ladies starting off, getting those kicks going, a little bit of Taekwondo stance. Since she hasn't been doing ground game recently, we're going to see how that's going to be a factor in this fight. Shay, on the other hand, again in the black shirt, a little bit more of a Thai boxing style, pretty good jiu-jitsu. Her wrestling's come a long way. She has taken some Thai boxing fights, kickboxing fights. She wants to get into mixed martial arts, and we did a podcast together right before she got out of town. Here we're just trying to keep them in from falling outside of the cage. So she's a shining star, man. Every time I put a video with Shay in it, it's very popular for obvious reasons. She's very skilled, and she definitely gets after it. So she's equal parts moxie, equal parts skill. She's one of those folks that when you coach her, you teach her something, you look over and you see her hit it on somebody the same day. So both these ladies fantastic. Same thing with Sage in the pink. We did a little bit of ground game. I do have some videos because we were trying to get up some short technique videos whenever our schedules align. So hopefully someday I'll get those edited and get those up. But fantastic athletes, good to coach, good to teach. I've seen her teaching folks, really good teaching style. And that just comes from doing Taekwondo basically since she could walk. She coaches one of the kids' classes at the gym. So if you got itty bitty kids, get them in. I've never seen anybody run a room of young folk better than her. She keeps their attention, keeps them moving, looks good. So as for the fight itself, very back and forth. Shay is a little bit outreached here, but she's been in more sparring recently, especially. She has a little more fight experience. These guys are really an interesting match, and this is something that everybody wanted to see. The volume is really high. These are two fit girls. These are girls that will finish their fight classes and they go jump on a treadmill right after, and they just keep going. Sage, super busy schedule. She's doing a lot of creative stuff. She does music, she does social, etc. She's all over as far as schedule-wise. In fact, I think right before this she was coaching Taekwondo, and as far as, if I can remember correctly, I think she actually still wanted to take the fight with a little bit of a hamstring tweak. So she's not moving as quickly as usual. Shay's really bringing it to her. But credit where credit's due. She's a fighter, she's a warrior. Sage always trying to get better. On the other hand, over here, Shay constantly, a lot of people, when we talk about fights, they always want to make some comparison, oh, so-and-so's a pit bull. Shay in the black shirt, she might be. She gets in there. The first time I ever saw her smile, I saw her smile twice. One was when she cracked somebody, and the second one was when she got cracked. So of course we try to keep the head trauma down, but she's having fun. She's getting in there. She's doing it. Big range on those kicks. That is the end of the first round. It's always really good to see Sage with her Taekwondo experience fitting in those kicks. In a stand-up fight when you're expecting more Thai boxing, it can really throw off a lot of fighters if they're only used to, the traditional roundhouse kicks, leg kick, head kick, teep, front kick, clinches and knees, things like that. If someone starts winging out and throwing something that you see less common, it can really catch you off guard. And then on top of that, the distance management from the Taekwondo players that are really effective is real good. So typically if you see me go over talking to the corner, typically I won't talk to the athlete themselves. I try to be very impartial. Since I coach all these people to some degree, I never want to give the thought of I wanted you in my corner, I didn't get you in my corner, this and that. That can get in your head on a fight day, so I just try to stay impartial. In the future, when I get some other folks a little bit where I want them as far as refereeing to referee the way that I want them to do it, when I get more trust with that, I will start to do a little bit more commentary, sitting next to the microphone. But here we go. The girls wasting no time at all in all the men's fights. They kind of took some time, felt it out a little bit. These girls get after it immediately. Unfortunately, we don't have the audio, but absolutely the crowd was the loudest for this fight and the fight that's going to be right after this one. The girls just, they brought the fight, the technical level, just fantastic. Very rewarding to coach all these people that fought tonight, but especially the girls, man, they really brought it. And Shay on top, I'm being very careful not to mix up their names because it's similar. Shay on top gets a good takedown. Again, Sage a little bit less experienced on the ground, and she really hasn't worked in that recently. Shay, on the other hand, she absolutely has. She's been working ground game. She's been there every Friday. She's also been getting into the jiu-jitsu class while she's in town. She is in town because of summer, and this was her kind of a little bit of a send-off because she's going to go back out to the coast to college, and she's going to continue training out there. She's training at Brunson's gym. And like I said, we did a podcast. Hopefully very soon, right after posting this fight, I'll be able to get the podcast up there. I'll throw it up on the YouTube channel. We shall see. I'm still kind of getting through all the technical kinks and things like that. Now, here, Shay was on top for a long period of time, and you have to decide. Obviously, I'm not letting them go hard enough to get like a TKO or anything like that. Do we consider stopping the fight? Do we let it go? I made the game time call to let the fight continue to go, because it's not like someone's getting head trauma. Put your athletes in a difficult situation to allow them to get used to it, to allow them the opportunity to succeed. If you just stop the fight because someone's been in mount for 30 seconds, you're not going to give them the opportunity to overcome that, to get through that. If you let someone just be in a bad spot for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever, as long as they're not going to get injured, not going to take damage, when they get through that, they are on the other side, and that's something that they're going to remember. This might motivate them to train more of a ground game. This might motivate them to work on the mount escapes, whatever it may be. If the risk is low, I say let it go. Let them fight, I'll be a Mazzagatti kind of ref. Now, if you're on top and you want to finish the fight and you want to get out of there quick, set up an arm bar, roll them over, set up a rear naked choke, get something like that. But Shay here, she's really just kind of punching the glove. She could transition to the back. We do see it there. Sage gives her back. Shay's trying to get in there. She is wearing boxing gloves. I believe they're 10 ounces, but still very challenging to try to get a rear naked choke on that as we watch the clock run down. I believe this is second round. But really good control from Shay. She is a little bit undersized in this one, but not too far off. And you have to remember, there we go, that's the end of the second round. You got to remember that Shay's used to fighting all the big boys, Sage as well. But Shay gets in there, gets after it, and you would never know that. It's almost like watching a small dog pick on a big dog when she spars. Like you would never know that there's a weight difference the way she gets after it. So round two, they're getting in there. In Sage's corner, you have Daniel. He's getting the ice on there. He's trying to give some last-minute jiu-jitsu, talking about getting underhooks, getting off bottom. It's very difficult to coach in the moment. It's more of just sticking to the game plan, but you never know. I would just maybe try coaching something super simple, like just get your hands clapped into a prayer position, try to buck the hips, stay busy, and that's exactly what Daniel's showing. He's showing the bridge. He's showing getting off sides. If I had more of a heads up, I would like to get the fighters to pair up with their cornermen and just try to work on just one thing or two things, something like that, get them primed and ready before the fight. But like I said, Sage just rolled out of coaching Taekwondo. I think as soon as she got in the door, I was like, hey, glove up, your fight is a go. And just, the warrior spirit, she took that fight without hesitation. I think I told her a couple days before, I was like, hey, can you make it on Friday? She's like, yeah, well, I'm across town, but I can get there by like 7:30. And she absolutely made that happen. So hands are a little bit low on Sage. I would like to see the hands a little bit higher, especially on someone who has good punches like Shay. Sage has really good kicks. I'd like to see that getting set up with a jab. If every time you're opening up with a kick in round two and now in round three, your opponent's going to see that and they're going to find a way in there. Shay throwing that back fist, always giving you many things to think about. Shay definitely has her own style, and she's going to throw different things at you, which is always good, keeps it guessing, especially with that back fist. We've been seeing that a lot. She goes for the single leg. She's got head inside. She is able to run the pipe and dump it. I'm just there blocking it, keeping them on the mat. So we are kind of body blocking a little bit, but Shay's on top after running that single. That is something that we worked on, so it's very rewarding to see that coming in. Again, we're seeing them out here. What I decided was, if we get 30 seconds of just straight teeing off, I would consider a TKO. And so, as the ref, and this is something that you're going to see when you take fights, the ref will say, "Hey, defend yourself. Hey, show me something." That's what you're going to get 1, maybe 2 warnings. You don't have to be successful defending yourself, but you have to be showing that you are trying to defend yourself. And so we do see her covering up. We do see her ducking and moving. She definitely still is in there. And again, we want to ride the line. I want to put my athletes in a difficult position to give them the opportunity to, fight out of something. Shay's in mount. You see her kind of looking for an armbar. She's kind of getting tired of being in mount. She's trying to see if she can get a finish here. Transitioning to the back. Sage trying to shake her off. It's really important to try to finish a round standing. There's a lot of folks that just remember the last 10 seconds. But since they scrambled into a new position and ended up in mount, in my mind, that reset the timer as far as, a 30-second mount if I am going to consider a TKO. You don't want to put somebody in a position where they just completely get cooked and maybe get demoralized or anything like that. You want to put them in the perfect situation where, they can feel like they've been there before on the second time. These are girls that are going to fight each other again. Even though Shay is gone, she's back to school, she's very likely, we talked about this, she should be able to come back on the last Fridays of the month. Now, we see Shay transitioning to the back. She's working for a choke, trying to get a choke, trying to get an arm lock, trying to get some way to finish. It is very rewarding just trying to get out of there and get some sort of finish towards the end. Sage, being a warrior, makes it to the bell. Not every day when you go to lift or when you go training or whatever, it's not very clear every day that you're getting better. Sure, you get like millimeters better every time that you show up, but after something like a mock fight, after you go through something like that, you will wake up the next day better. That's just how it's going to be. Giving your athletes a safe environment where they can grow, giving them something where they're going to wake up the next day better, come back at it. Maybe they have more motivation in their training. Maybe that little spark, it just keeps you from burning out. That's what's going to keep people keep people coming back. And very likely, I think this one, to me, that was the fight of the night. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.